Thank you for coming out to Reds. All right. We are coming to you live from Red's Restaurant in Carlstadt, New Jersey. I'm Dave Rivera, the sports director for NorthJersey.com and the Bergen Record, and welcome to the NorthJersey.com Draft Special and Trivia Night here at Reds. And with me is our New York Giants writer, Art Stapleton. Art, how you doing?
Dave, I'm doing well.
And our Jets writer, Andy Vasquez. Andy, how's it going?
It's going great, Dave.
Well, we are 1 week away from the NFL Draft, Thursday night, April 25th. It's going to be another big draft for both the Giants and Jets. They're both going to have very high picks in this draft, just like last year. So it's really important to see and talk about what they're going to be doing next week. So, Art and Andy, let's get to it. Art, before we talk about next week, let's go back and let's talk about what happened in a year ago when the Giants were sitting there with the number 2 pick, and they had a choice to make. It was either going to be, let's go with the franchise quarterback, the guy who might replace Eli Manning, or let's go with perhaps a guy who could be the most dynamic player in the draft. And it was Saquon Barkley, and obviously they made a choice in Barkley. A year later, what do you think of that pick? Did it work out for them? Is it the right pick?
Well, we're over at the facility today, basically a stone's throw here from Reds, and Saquon Barkley actually talked to the media, and that was the question he was asked a year later, and people still question whether or not he was the right pick. And he said, well, if I can't sway anyone by being the Rookie of the Year, then I'm never going to change their minds that I was the wrong pick. Look, the Giants went with who they thought was the best player in the draft. A year later, they're still faced with that quarterback question and what they'll do this year. But I do think that it's funny. The Jets took Jamal Adams a couple years back and didn't take a quarterback. That was the Pat Mahomes draft. That was the Deshaun Watson draft. And no one really questions that because a year later, they ended up getting Sam Darnold. So I think the Giants are kind of hoping for that 1-2 punch this year. We'll see what happens.
So, Andy, the Giants made their pick. They took Saquon Barkley, and look, Sam Darnold was there. The Jets, number 3, it seemed like a no-brainer. They made the right pick. What do you think? Was that what happened?
Yeah, I remember being in the interview room after the draft last year, and Mike McCagnon and Todd Bowles, the coach at the time, came in, and they were almost shocked that they were able to get Sam Darnold. I don't think they ever thought it was a realistic chance, and the fact that he fell to them, I think the Jets view it as a day and a thing that kind of changed the course of their franchise history. Obviously, it's way too soon to know if that really is the case, but there were some promising signs. Darnold had a few good games early in the season, a really rough patch before he got hurt in Miami, and then he came back the final 4 games of the season. He looked really good, led them to a win over Buffalo in Buffalo, and he went more than 100 consecutive passes at the end of the season without throwing an interception. So I think there's good reason for the Jets to be excited, but there's still a lot of work to do and pieces to put around him, but they've been trying to find that quarterback, that franchise quarterback for years, and I know in the building they believe they've done it.
Well, maybe they have. We'll see. I mean, like you said, he was progressing through season 1, and that we mentioned Sam Darnold. And speaking of Darnold, he's actually going to be our guest speaker at the NorthJersey.com Sports Awards show, which is June 13th at Bergen Pack. It's a night where we honor all our top high school athletes across North Jersey. Really a great night. And Sam Darnold's going to be there. Again, that's June 13th, NorthJersey.com Sports Awards. Really cool for Darnold to be there.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting. I mean, it's a good chance for some of these athletes to get up close and personal with a guy who not that long ago, I mean, he's only 21 years old. He was in high school himself, and you can kind of see how quickly these things can happen for you. So, yeah, I think it's going to be a cool thing.
Well, tickets are on sale for that, so go to NorthJersey.com, please, get your tickets. It's going to be a great night. We have so many awesome athletes in North Jersey, and it's really a fun time for them to be honored and to see Sam Darnold. So that'll be great. Art, so now let's go to the draft next Thursday. A big one for them, the Giants. They have 2 picks in the first round. They have number 6, and they have the number 17 pick. All the talk at the beginning was that they were probably, maybe going to take a quarterback with the number 6 pick. Dwayne Haskins was a name that people kept talking about, the Ohio State quarterback. But now maybe things have changed a little bit. What do you see with Giants having 2 picks at number 6 and number 17?
Yeah, I think that, Dave Gettleman gave his press conference today and talked about value and the idea of if you're at number 6 and you go by your board, will a quarterback be the 6th best player on your board? And the defensive line talent and the edge talent on the defensive side of the ball is so deep this year. And I think that the Giants will end up taking a defensive player at 6. And I think they'll use that 17th pick, the one they got in the trade for Odell Beckham Jr. to Cleveland, as kind of that carrot of do they move up and take a quarterback that they may like, that may have dropped into the late, the high in top 10 or maybe in the teens, low teens. But right now, I think they're going to end up going for the defensive player there. I think they're going to pray that somehow the Jets trade out and somebody trades in to take a quarterback, and they can kind of push Quinnen Williams from Alabama down a little bit, maybe a Josh Allen or a Devin White from LSU. But I think Giants will go defensive player, and then we'll see about the quarterback with what they do with 17.
Andy, is there a possibility that the Jets could trade that pick? I know McCagnon said that anything could happen.
Well, he's practically put it up for sale. I mean, he wants to trade it. The Jets want to trade it. They don't have a second-round pick this year because they traded up to get Sam Darnold last year and spent a bunch of second-round picks doing that. But I just don't think this year's quarterback class is going to get them the kind of package they want for a team to trade up into the top 3. So I think the Jets are going to be stuck having to pick at number 3, and there's certainly plenty of needs for them. They need an edge rusher, they need a cornerback, and they need...
That's where maybe a Josh Allen comes in?
Yeah, and they need a center too, but I think Josh Allen is probably the guy for them at number 3. I mean, they've been looking for an edge rusher for more than 10 years. And the search has not gone well. I mean, they haven't been able to put pressure on the quarterback. I think Leonard Williams is a little bit better than his numbers have showed, just because teams have been able to focus on him because the Jets have no edge threat. And if they could bring in a guy like Josh Allen, I think it could change the complexion of the defense pretty quickly early in the season.
We have a Jets fan over there. I see him with his sweatshirt. What do you think of the Jets? What do you think of the draft this year for the Jets? What do you want?
Their pick?
Yeah. Come on up here. Come on up here. This is a big draft here. We got to talk now. You can take the mic, right?
Hey, you want
There you go. Well, come on in. What's your name?
Frankie.
Frankie, how you doing?
Pretty good.
Where are you from, Frankie?
Fairfield.
Fairfield. Excellent. Awesome. So tell us what you think about the Jets. First of all, tell us what you think about Sam Darnold last year with that pick. Obviously, you guys have been looking for a quarterback for, God knows how long.
I absolutely love the pick, but if I was to trend towards something, Jamal Adams is my favorite.
Oh, Jamal, yeah.
Jamal Adams is my favorite player.
Absolutely. He's awesome, right?
Unbelievable.
But what do you think of Darnold? What do you think about him going forward? What you saw last year, and what do you think about going forward?
It's got to be the absolute future. Has to be. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. That's it. It's got the biggest step in the NFL is from year 1 to year 2. So this is it right here.
This is a big year for him coming up. No, there's absolutely no doubt. Now, what do you think about this draft? Now, do you want to go back to defense now, or what do you say?
It's got to be edge rusher.
Edge rusher, yeah.
And if anything, possibly trade out. Collect more picks.
Okay.
That's what I like. That's what I would like to see out of them.
Now, what do you think about Le'Veon Bell joining the Jets? Sat out. He's got a smile. Sat out a year, right? With the contract.
Smiling because my girlfriend's a Steeler fan.
Well, there you go. So all right. So she's happy with Le'Veon Bell. All right.
Yeah.
Did you get your jersey yet? Did you get a Le'Veon Bell jersey yet? It's coming. you know what you got to buy.
Yeah, exactly. I want to see her in green and white.
So, but what do you think of that move?
Le'Veon Bell, probably one of the best free agent signings we've ever had. Yeah. Ever had. And I knew you're gonna have to pay to get him, and they got him. So that's it.
I think sometimes you got to make that move. I mean, if they feel they're on the team on the rise, with a quarterback who's blossoming, you get them some help on the offense.
Well, they got Osemele in the trade, which is good, but I still think they need one more piece on the offensive line, and after that, I think sky's the limit. He's going to get the ball. He's going to touch the ball 200 times, 300 times.
Yeah, he is.
So he's going to be your workload. He's going to be your workhorse. And They're going to ride them all the way.
So overall, as a Jet fan, I mean, how do you feel about the team and the future and moving forward, as you know, with the direction they're going in?
Well, I think the season.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Very. And how do you go to games?
I'm going to 4 this year.
All right. I like. Yeah.
4. So
Excellent.
I used to have season tickets, but we'll backed off about it. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much.
No
Thanks for
problem.
coming on. Appreciate it. All right.
problem.
Let's hear it. Good job. Thank you, guys. Thank you. So there you go. Edge rusher is what the Jets fans are looking for, and like we were talking about, possibly like Josh Allen. Art, Josh Allen, we got some big time New Jersey players in this draft. I mean, Josh Allen is one of them from Montclair. We've got obviously Rashawn Gary, who is from North Jersey, the local star, Paramus Catholic. Went to Michigan, may not have had the career maybe that people thought he should have had at Michigan, but he's still there at the draft. And then Dwayne Haskins, who he grew up in Highland Park, but I think then moved out of state for high school.
Moved down to Maryland.
Moved down to Maryland for high school. But still, 3 New Jersey guys who could really tear up this NFL draft in the top 10. What do you think of these guys?
Potentially all 3 are gone by pick, 5 or 6. I mean, really, it could happen that way. I like Gary for Oakland. That's a possibility. I think he could stay in Michigan with Detroit, with the Lions at 8. As far as Josh Allen, it's got to be Allen for the Jets. I mean, I really agree with Andy on that front. And then Haskins is really the big question. You hear a lot going into the draft, the idea of guys' stock going up and down. And really, players, prospects, their stock doesn't rise or fall. It really comes down to the clarity that we gain outside of the building of what teams believe and feel about prospects. So I think Haskins, no later than 15 with the Redskins, I think, is where he'll end up, which is ironic because he'll end up in Maryland, where he ended up going for high school instead of Jersey for the Giants. So he grew up a Giants fan. Haskins loves the Giants, was just in the Giants facility earlier this week for his top 30 visit. People kind of went nuts. If you remember last year, Saquon was caught at a Penn State barbershop wearing a Giants sweatshirt after his visit.
That went viral, yeah.
It went viral, and then the Giants ended up taking Saquon. Well, a year later, Haskins is wearing a Giants sweatshirt out at the boxing gym that he works out at.
That's right.
And that goes viral yesterday, and now all of a sudden people are saying, could it happen 2 years in a row? I'm not convinced. I don't know if Haskins ends up here with the Giants, but I do think there is at least a 50-50 shot that he ends up with the Giants.
Well, like I said, we're here with Art Stapleton and Andy Vasquez of NorthJersey.com. Art is our Giants writer. Andy is our Jets writer. Andy, the Jets are winners in this draft. Not just the first round, but the whole draft if what happens?
Well, I think they need to find an edge rusher like we talked about. I think
we have the new GM who's sitting over there, so I think he'd be happy with that.
And I think most Jets fans would. Center is a big issue right now. Jonathan Harrison, who was the backup last year, is basically penciled in as their starting center. They need to address this. It's not good enough to go into the season with him as a center. And the whole goal of this offseason is to protect Sam Darnold, to put him in a position to succeed. And if they don't find a center in the draft who can protect him, I think it's a failure of a draft. And then wide receiver. The Jets are happy with what they've got at wide receiver. Robbie Anderson, Quincy Enunwa. They added Jamison Crowder in free agency, but they still don't have a true number 1 guy, and Robbie Anderson's going to be an unrestricted free agent next year. So they've got to put a little bit more youth in the pipeline, and I think I could see them in the mid-rounds going with a wide receiver.
So there you go. So Art, now what do you think about the Giants? The Giants, I'll ask you the same thing. They win in this draft if
the fan base doesn't burn down MetLife Stadium if they draft Daniel Jones from Duke at 17.
that could be a rough one.
Yeah, I think, look, do they need a quarterback? Yes, a successor to Eli. They want someone. I don't know if that quarterback is in this draft. I personally like Drew Lock, or Dwayne Haskins. I think they need at least 2 defensive starters in this draft, especially one on the edge. And I think they'll get their starting right tackle in Mike Remmers, a veteran who's recovering from back surgery.
Right.
He's still a free agent. I think they'll end up getting him. They need a young offensive lineman to kind of take over that tackle spot when Remmers is done, or if not for this season. That's what I'm banking on. So they need at least 2 defensive starters out of this draft, and if the quarterback is there, pull the trigger. You got to do it. And if you don't, then I'd look to Justin Herbert in 2020.
This is not draft related, but Art, Odell Beckham
Yep.
traded this offseason. Are the Giants, was that a good deal for them? Are they better off without Odell Beckham?
Football-wise, they are not better off without Odell Beckham Jr. I mean, he's one of the most talented players in the NFL, let alone a wide receiver. I do think it got to the point where it's probably best for both sides that he's not here. I think it's good for him. I think he'll kind of have a rebirth in Cleveland. I think for the short term, I think there'll be a lot of Giants fans who think the Giants made a mistake. I think it depends on what they do with the assets that they got back. How good does Jabril Peppers play in the secondary? If he replaces Landon Collins, I mean, they got 2 safeties for the price of 1 in Landon Collins, and part of that was because of the Beckham trade. So it's going to be a tough pill to swallow for the Giants if they don't win games this year, to sell their fans on the idea that they're a better football team without Odell. Now, if they win, then the Giants are going to look very smart that they dealt away Beckham for the assets that they got back.
All right, well, now it's time to make our predictions for the first round. And Andy, I will start with you. Prediction, Jets with the number 3 pick. What's going to happen?
I think they're going to stay at number 3, and I think they're going to take Josh Allen if he's there.
Josh Allen from Kentucky.
I think that's the right pick, and I think he'll be there.
Very good. And Art, your pick, Giants have 2 picks, number 6 and 17.
Well,
What do you see happening a week from tonight?
I'll say at 6, they hope that Quinnen Williams drops to 6. I don't think he will. I think they'll take either Devin White, linebacker from LSU, or Ed Oliver, defensive tackle from Houston. And at 17, I'm going to mix it up. I'm going to say they're going to get aggressive. They're going to go after Drew Lock. They're going to trade 17 and a pick from next year's draft up to, say, anywhere from 13 with the Dolphins all the way up to maybe 9 with the Bills. Brandon Beane was the assistant GM under Dave Gettleman in Carolina. There's a little connection there. I think Gettleman might be able to move up to 9 if he gives them the right price.
Well, there you have it right there. So let's just do one more question for each guy here, and let's talk about the NFL schedules that just came out yesterday, last night. Art, we'll start with you. The Giants schedule. How do you, what are your thoughts, impressions on how that's going to play out?
Well, we did our way too early predictions on NorthJersey.com this morning, and Andy and I both went out. I didn't even get a chance to look at Andy's because we had a full day of access over with the Giants. I ended up with 8-8. They only have 3 primetime games, the Giants, Thursday night against the Patriots, and then they play the Cowboys at home on a Monday night, and then they go to Philly, the House of Horrors down in Philly for the Giants on a Monday night late in the season.
You hear that, Philly fans? The House of Horrors.
I think you know that. Giants have had some rough moments over the last 5, 6, 7 years. It kind of all started with the Victor Cruz injury, and nothing has been good since down there. But I will say, I think if they stabilize things early, there's a run that they could have. I think in my projections, I had them winning 4 in a row at some point. I think they were 2-4, and then they won 4 in a row to kind of build back up, and then they were win-loss, win-loss. They don't have to go to the West Coast this year. They had to go to the West Coast twice 2 years ago. Last year, they went back to the West Coast. The furthest trip west is Dallas, and that's in week 1. Right. They only get on the plane 4 times the entire year. So I think they've got a shot if they can hit on their picks in the draft. They've got 12 picks. If they can get guys that can play on defense and shore up that defense, I think by the middle of the season, they might be able to surprise some people.
And Andy, with the Jets schedule, we're going to see Odell. Is it week 2?
Week 2,
Week 2. He's
Monday
going to come
Night
back
Football.
already, Odell Beckham. We're going to probably see some Browns jerseys maybe in the crowd with Odell.
Yeah, I would imagine so. I mean, the Jets have an interesting schedule. Art said the Giants only have 3 primetime games. For the Jets to have 3 primetime games is actually a step up and a sign that, with Le'Veon Bell and C.J. Mosley and Jamal Adams and Sam Darnold, that viewers and networks are more interested in them. So they're becoming more relevant, and the schedule starts off tough with some tough games, but there's a soft spot in the middle. I think I had them winning 4 or 5 games in a row there and finishing at 9-7. I think it's realistic for the Jets. I think they really can compete for a playoff spot this year. Some things are going to have to go right, and they're going to have to solidify some deficiencies, especially on defense, which the defensive backfield is a major question mark outside of the safeties right now. But I think they can make a run, and it'll be interesting to see Adam Gase going up against his former team, the Dolphins, for the first time in Week 9, playing on Thursday Night Football, Week 15 in Baltimore. C.J. Mosley going back there. So, and then there's a great slate of home games with the Browns, the Cowboys, the Steelers all coming to town. So
Giants.
The Giants, yeah.
Giants and Jets.
It's a home game, yeah.
Giants and Jets.
It's a very interesting schedule for the Jets, and one I think they can do pretty well with.
All right, so thank you guys very much. We're going to do one thing before we sign off. It is Sports Trivia Night here at Reds, and we're going to get to that in just a moment. Let's have Art and Andy go against each other, a little one-on-one sports trivia. I am not going to ask Giants and Jets questions, so we're going to switch it up a little bit here. So Art and Andy, I want you get ready. I think what we're going to do is you're going to grab the football, and we're going to have some judges here to see who wins here with each question. Maybe we'll do like a best 3 out of 5. What do you say, all right?
Sure.
All right, here we go. So this is the first question about the New York Mets, all right? New York Mets. You a Mets fan? All right, come on up. No, I'm just kidding. All right, so the New York Mets. Who is the Mets' all-time leader in home runs? Nobody shout it out, please. This is for, you got it? Did you get it?
I didn't. No, I didn't.
No, you gotta pound the football if you know.
I know. I'm trying to.
Mets all-time home run leader. All right, Andy, go ahead.
Mike Piazza.
Mike Piazza is incorrect.
All right.
Art, you got a chance to steal.
I don't think he's been there. I'll say Strawberry.
He says Darryl Strawberry. Is he right? No. Darryl Strawberry. All-time Mets home run. You got it.
That's
yes.
right. Hey.
Darryl Strawberry. All right, here we go. Question about Yankee legend Derek Jeter. What town in New Jersey was Derek Jeter born? Art's got that.
Pequannock.
Pequannock, all right. You got it wrong. What were you going to say? Livingston, all right. He was going to get it wrong.
You got to always think of the hospitals, right? You got to think of where the hospitals are in Jersey.
All right, so you're up 2-0 already, Art. What's going on? Let's go.
I'm going to pick it up.
All right, so let's see. Here we go. Let's see. The Yankees. Yankee question. You're not going to get it?
No,
all right.
Let's go ahead.
The year the Yankees won their first World Series is? First World Series for the New York Yankees. What year? Art's going to guess again and probably get it right. Art?
I guess 1927.
1927 is incorrect. Andy, you got a chance to steal.
1926.
1926 is incorrect. Anybody in the house know? 1928. Incorrect. 1923 is the answer. New York Yankees. That was the first year of the new Yankee Stadium. They won it then. All right, here we go. We're going to go here. Oh, Andy, you're not going to get any of these.
Give him some.
That's all right.
Give Andy some Detroit questions.
Give some golf questions?
Golf questions, yeah, right. Okay. New York Mets question, 1986 World Series, all right? Which pitcher was on the mound for the Mets through the final out?
Year I was born, I gotta know.
Oh, you was born, all right.
Don't know.
Now I'm feeling old. Go ahead.
Jesse Orozco.
Jesse Orozco, Art Stapleton with the sweep of Andy Vasquez.
That's what happens when you don't grow up in New Jersey.
Which puts a lot more on this Giants-Jets game coming up now. Andy, you got to even the score now.
Yeah, I'm going to need a solid performance from the Jets, I guess.
And a better one from you, at least.
Yeah,
all right.
Exactly.
So thank you, guys. Thank you, everybody. Andy Vasquez, our Jets writer, Art Stapleton, our Giants writer. I'm Dave Rivera, NorthJersey.com. We were live on Facebook here for you. Visit NorthJersey.com for all great content, stories, videos, photos. Come down for trivia if you want. We still got a few more minutes. Come on down. But go to NorthJersey.com. Sign up for a digital subscription if you don't have one. You get all great content, not just in pro sports, but high school sports, news, features, everything you want under the sun. We've got it at NorthJersey.com. And also, NorthJersey.com, in the record, was just named the top news organization in New Jersey. So we're very proud of that. Thank you, NJPA Awards. So Dave Rivera, I'm the sports director of North Jersey. For Art and Andy, for everybody here, all the crew in North Jersey, thank you very much. And we will see you guys down the road. Take care. Thank you, guys.
Trivia time.
Trivia time.